David, great to see you again.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking some time. I appreciate it. Hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
for viewers who aren't familiar with Wasabi, what is the company's mission or market focus? Give us a little bit of an overview.
So Wasabi is cloud storage. All we do is cloud storage, and our goal is to do it better and cheaper than anybody else. And
Okay.
so far, we're doing pretty good.
Congratulations on that. Now, listen, cloud storage, the storage and data protection markets, they are really crowded. How ultimately does Wasabi stand out from that crowd?
Well, I don't actually see it as being all that crowded. I mean, the other people who, are considered for cloud storage generally is just Amazon, Google, and Microsoft.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say just because those are obviously very formidable competitors. But we're about one-fifth the price of Amazon, Google, and Microsoft's cloud storage products. Um, they have hundreds of other products to worry about. Everything from content delivery networks to AI to compute to all kinds of things. And we're just laser focused on storage because storage is a huge market. With our background at Carbonite, we had 12 years of figuring out how to do cloud storage really, really well, and we're experts at cloud storage, and we think we're holding our own in this market by being a provider that's a fraction of the price of the other guys and faster all at the same time.
Got it. Got it. So when you say storage, are you competing with things like Amazon Simple Storage Service or
Yeah,
other order variables in that?
no, we compete directly with Amazon S3,
Okay.
and in fact, Wasabi is designed to be 100% um, plug compatible with Amazon S3, so that all the hundreds or possibly even thousands of applications that are designed to work with S3, you can unplug Amazon and plug in Wasabi and work exactly the same. And
Mhm.
in fact, we have a lot of customers who are still running their applications in Amazon's cloud, but they've moved their, at least the bulk of their storage to us just because, they charge $20 to $23 a terabyte and we charge six.
Wow. Wow. Now, I don't know how technical or how much secret source you can reveal, but what is it about you guys sort of cracking the code to a less expensive solution? I mean, is there some secret algorithm you developed, or how do you make this happen?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of know-how that goes into this, and one of the things is we don't rely on somebody else's commercial file system
Mm.
to store the data, and so we've optimized the utilization of the disk so that we get pack more bytes on a disk than you would if you were using Linux or Windows or something like that.
Hmm.
And we have techniques for extending the drive life so that we can amortize the drives over a longer period of time, and a whole bunch of tricks. There's about 20 things that have gone into Wasabi. This one saves 10%, this one saves 20%, this one saves 6%, and so forth. But it all adds up to sort of big savings and extremely high performance uh, you know uh, object storage in the cloud.
That's fantastic. Now, how far into the journey are you? Now, it's not like you just turned this on last week. I know you're pretty far along here with customers and company expansion. Refresh my memory. When did you launch the company, and when did you become a production solution for customers?
Yeah, so we launched in May of 2017.
Hmm.
So we're coming up on 3 years old now. And in that period of time, we now have over 15,000 customers. We have hundreds of petabytes of storage. We're in the US, we're in Europe, we're in Japan. Um, we have 2,500 channel partners who are all learning that they can make a lot of money by reselling cloud storage.
Mm.
We have over 200 technology partners. So these are companies like Veeam and Arcserve and videos companies like Milestone who are building Wasabi into their products. Uh, and we want to be the storage behind anything that's out
Mm.
there. So if someone's building a new product that's, say, a video product or a consumer photo product, and it's going to require a lot of storage, we hope they'll build it on top of our platform instead of on top of something that's more expensive.
Okay. Now, in a few minutes, I want to hear more about the partner sort of initiative, both channel-wise and strategic alliances. But before we get to that, I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you're funding the business so far. Now, I understand when we're recording this, we're maybe a day or a few days from you announcing the next round of funding, I think. Can you fill us in?
I'm not supposed to talk about the next round, but
Okay.
we did just close a new round of funding, and there will be an announcement about it coming up soon. And it
Okay.
was at a significantly higher valuation, which, I think is pretty amazing achievement in this market.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we've raised over $100 million to date, and the exact amount will be disclosed when we announce the new funding.
Okay. All right. Great. Looking forward to it. Tell me a little bit more about the partner program then, both from the channel side as well as technology and strategic alliances. What are you up to?
So, we spent the first year trying to develop a partner channel.
Mm-hmm.
Until probably a year or so into the game, nobody really had heard of Wasabi. We'd call up an MSP, and the MSPs would say, well, nobody's asking for Wasabi, so forth and so on. Now we get over 100 new partners every week. I mean,
Wow.
it's growing really fast. We're up to about 2,500 channel partners today. We're more than 50% channel in the US, and we're 100% channel in Japan and 100% channel in Europe. And, this has been our dream all along, that the people who, for the last 40 years have been selling hardware storage like EMC and Dell and HP and NetApp and that kind of thing, will learn that they can actually make more money selling cloud storage than they can selling some piece of hardware. So, the channel partners are getting on board when they have the option of selling on-prem hardware or cloud. More and more of them are choosing to sell cloud. And as Wasabi gets better and better known, there's a very high degree of acceptance of that on the part of the customer.
Got it. Now, earlier in the conversation, you mentioned a few backup and disaster recovery storage companies. And without me choosing favorites or mentioning favorites, let's say hypothetically I'm an MSP, right? And I'm working with some of the various backup companies you mentioned. It sounds like there might be an opportunity for me here to connect the dots between those backup companies and your cloud storage solution for me to make better margin. Is that a way for me to think of it? Or is it some other model that you're thinking of for the partner?
No, I mean, if you're selling a backup product, and you can go on our website and you can see all the different backup companies that we partner with. If you go on, the pages of any of these backup companies too, you'll frequently find Wasabi there as as the place to store the data. So I'm going to buy, let's say, Veeam backup for my company. I have to store the backup somewhere.
Right.
And, traditionally, probably I have stored that on a piece of hardware, a NAS or some kind of local file storage. And I think what the MSPs are finding is, gee, let's bundle Veeam, or let's bundle Arcserve. I think we're doing a webinar tomorrow with Arcserve. Let's bundle that with Wasabi, and we'll sell a complete solution to the customer that will do their backups, take care of the storage, doesn't involve a lot of muss and fuss and installing equipment and wiring and somebody to babysit it and all that sort of stuff. So it makes life very simple for the MSP to just simply get good at selling something that's a good value for the customer, something that they can make some money at selling, and that can produce a recurring revenue stream in addition, and just works, and it's in the cloud, so if the building burns down, they don't have to worry about where their backups have gone.
Got it. And then, in terms of the time and date we're recording this, this is May 26, 2020. People may watch this years from now and may not quite understand the pandemic that we're all living through right now. It'll be for the historians to interpret. But from your vantage point right here and now, has the coronavirus pandemic influenced your business, your strategy, your go-to-market, any R&D? I mean, what have sort of been your steps to navigate the pandemic?
Yeah, so I think storage is a gotta-have, not a nice-to-have.
Yep.
And just because there's a pandemic going on, the The satellites are still sending down imagery from outer space, and the telescope in Chile is still creating scans of the sky every night. People still have to do their backups. When you go over to Mass General and get an MRI, it still has to get stored somewhere. So our business has been doing really well throughout the pandemic.
Mm.
And I think that's, for that reason. I think the other reason that Wasabi is doing really well right now is cost savings projects have kind of moved to the top of the stack. Somebody may have on their desk a project where they're going to migrate data off of some on-prem equipment to Wasabi, or maybe they're going to migrate from Amazon or Microsoft to Wasabi. But, it hasn't been the most exciting project, so it's been sitting there underneath some of the new, more exciting stuff.
Right.
Now with everybody kind of hunkered down and looking for ways to save money, I think a lot of those projects are now come to the surface, and that's been benefiting us.
Yeah.
So, I think all data is going to move to the cloud eventually, or almost all data is going to move to the cloud. And I think this pandemic, with people having to work from home, is just accelerating that trend. And I don't see that going backwards when things go back to normal.
Yeah.
If you're going to work at home, you need access to data wherever the heck you are. And getting access to data that's on an on-prem server usually involves VPNs and all kinds of complexity. And, they're really not designed to have everybody remote dialed in. So I think the cloud solution makes obvious sense. And, I was just talking with my management team this morning about whether we're ever going to really go back to the office the way we used to. And, the VP of engineering had polled our 40 or 50 engineers, and nobody's anxious to go back into the office. They're all saying like, dude, I could take the 2 hours I was spending commuting and develop some code for you. So which would you prefer?
Yeah.
So,
question for you in terms of this journey you're on with Wasabi. What are your key business priorities for the rest of 2020? Where do you want to take the company, and or where do you want to take the industry?
Well, I think storage is becoming a commodity like electricity or bandwidth.
Mm.
And, I don't, when I walk into a data center and I walk down the aisles of cages that belong to their various customers, and everybody's had to go pick their own storage, and this guy's got EMC, and another guy's got NetApp, and another guy's got, HP. And I just, it's like, why would you do that anymore? Any more than you would say, want to have your own electric generating plant. If you're in New England, every one of these old brick factories used to have a power generator out back. And you wouldn't think of doing that today because, you have kind of one size fits all electricity, and it's available everywhere. And I think that's the way storage is going to be. So as we go through this period of probably 10 years of transition from storage being mostly local to storage being mostly in the cloud, we want to get as much of that as possible.
Yeah.
And so that means, deploying our solution worldwide, because less than a third of the world's data storage needs are going to be the United States. So I'm not going to ignore 2/3 of the world. So we need to be in more markets, and you'll see the money that we just raised, will be used to continue our geographic expansion in Europe and South America and Asia, and also to deploy more vaults in the US so that we can be closer to our customers.
Got it.
But things like data sovereignty laws are just proliferating everywhere around the world. And so, we've got a customer a prospect in Canada right now that wants to give us 5 petabytes worth of medical data. They can't ship it to the US. So if we want that 5 petabytes in Wasabi, we've got to move to Canada. So we got to have a data center up there. And that kind of thing is everywhere in the world. So, just before Christmas, we opened up in Tokyo. So now we can sell to the Japanese market, but there's no way you're going to get a Japanese customer to send their data to the Northwest United States or something like that.
Yeah. So a lot of localization work. One more question that did pop into my mind earlier in the conversation when you were answering that question. You mentioned the commodity word. To some entrepreneurs, especially in the technology industry, the word commodity is a dirty word. In your world, it sounds like a massive opportunity. So how do you make sure that commodity is both an opportunity but a profitable one at that?
Yeah, so I like commodity types of products. I mean, backup was kind of a commodity product when we moved into it. When Carbonite launched, we had HP, Iron Mountain, and EMC as entrenched competitors, and everybody thought we were nuts to go into a market like that. And yet,
Right.
within 4 or 5 years, we had driven all three of those companies out of the market niche that we were in, which is
Mm.
consumer backup. I would rather worry about how to be the low cost provider and the highest quality provider than I would whether whether anybody's going to care about my product. So we're
Mm.
like the guy that's figured out how to make sheet steel for 10% less. It's
Okay.
why would you buy the other guys when ours is 10% less and it's exactly the same? And that's the kind of market I really like. And cloud storage is already somewhere between 50 and $100 billion in size, and for all practical purposes, limitless.
Mm.
So if we can just focus on being the best cloud storage provider out there, and people can use it for whatever, they can store MRIs, they can store images from satellites, they can store data from your new Tesla. I don't, whatever it is, people need storage for everything.
Yeah.
And that's the business I want to be in. And I don't have to worry about whether the dog's going to eat the dog food because, that's not the nature of this market. Everybody needs storage.
Yeah, they sure do, especially now, especially now.
Yeah.
So for our viewers who would like some more information about Wasabi, is there a particular URL or web address that they should go visit?
You just go to wasabi.com. And, if you're a channel partner, you go to the channel tab. If you just want information about Wasabi, you can find a lot of it there. There's a lot of really great videos explaining how things work. There's blogs, there's all sorts of resources. So certainly invite anyone to do that.
Well, fantastic. David, thanks for your time, not only now, but over the years. I appreciate the ongoing dialogue with you.
Yeah, it's been great to reconnect, Joe.